What's going on, guys? Welcome back to yet another episode of Breakfast with Perkins. I am, of course, your host, the Animals Drinkable Yogurt. And we're going to go ahead and do part 2 of things you wish you knew about being an adult, or things you wish you knew as a kid about being an adult. Part 1 seemed to have got some pretty good traction. People seem to like that. So I'm looking at this list here. There's going to be at least probably 2 more parts, depending on how long I waffle on about these things. But glad you guys liked it, so that's good. But we're going to jump right into it here. Skip the formalities. Things you weren't prepared for as an adult, or wish you were told as a kid about being an adult. When I got here, and as I said, for those that missed the first video, I sent a snap out to about 400 people and just got different answers of what people wish they would have known about being an adult. I took out the heavily common answers, like, Bitcoin, or I either took them out or didn't touch up on them that much. But I got some ones on here that are kind of like off the reservation, and then some that didn't really, that weren't as big as, and those are the ones I like to focus on because fuck the norm. All right, we're gonna jump into it here. First one is take pictures for the memory and not for the clout. This is a huge one. Now, I don't know if the person that sent me this meant it the same way that I'm about to say. I guess it wouldn't really be the same way. But I guess you do want to take pictures for the memory and not just because. To me personally, that's not something I wish I would have known as a kid, per se. But even as an adult, I see people, they'll take trips, they'll do whatever, and they take pictures. It's not for the memory. It's to show other people, hey, look at me. Look where I'm at. Look what I'm doing. That to me is, that's I don't know. It's disingenuous. To me anyway. Also, I'm a big proponent of act like you've been there. So when people go on trips, like I'll go to, Scottsdale, Arizona. For those that have never been to Scottsdale, it's a pretty affluent area. Spend a lot of money to go there. It's a fun time, a lot of money everywhere. But I don't sit there and take pictures of the food that I'm eating. I don't sit there and take pictures of the resort I stay at. I don't sit there and take pictures of, whatever it is. I go to the car dealerships and take pictures of the cars that I see, and then the cars in the wild, because who can appreciate a good car? But little things to say like, look at me, look where I'm at, versus not for the memory. I'm a huge proponent of that. Plus, when you take pictures of that expensive dinner, or to me, it looks like, this is something they don't experience a lot otherwise. So they're taking pictures of it. It's like people in the hood. You see when they're fanning out like those hundreds. It's like, yeah, man, check us out. Look, nigga. It's like, okay. The only people that flash money like that are people that have never had it, A, and B, people that have made it through nefarious means. Because no one working a 9 to 5 at Wells Fargo or Citibank or wherever is getting paid, withdrawing the money, and then being like, look at that, we balling. Like, and then they want to know why they get snitched on. Like, you're over here flashing like $5,000 into a camera, talking about, I wonder how they knew. You're dumb. Anyway, let's move on. Talk more about world issues. Now, see, I guess it depends on what kind of world issues you're wanting to learn more about. Because I feel like they teach you a lot about world issues in school. So it wouldn't be something as a kid. However, I do feel like, and this has been said before, the victors write history. So if you've won, say, a war, or you've won this, you've won that, you're the one that's writing the history books. That's all that matters. They don't give a fuck about accuracy. There are certain things in history that were probably taught in school that it's deliberately left out because America won whatever it was, or it makes us look bad, or whatever it is. I do wish that there was more things they would teach us. One thing as a kid, this is a perfect one right here. So obviously, being a African, a melanated man, a black man in America, anytime Black history would pop up, I went to school at a place called Urbandale. For those that have no idea what that is, Urbandale, when I went to Urbandale, I can name the 4 or 5 other Black kids in my grade. I'll name them out now. We had Tony May, Jared Parks, Jordan Washington. We had Obi, who was properly African. We had Tamara Peak, Sarah Weibo. Was that it for black people? So like 6 black people in my grade in a mostly white school. Though by the end of my senior year, it was mixed. It was like Harlem in there. All types of refugees and black people. Anyway, but in the beginning, as a kid, anytime Black History Month would pop up, it was the same black historical figures every single year. George Washington Carver, Harriet Tubman, and Martin Luther King. Every single year. And it's not until you grow up, maybe white people can't attest to this, but something I can identify with. As you grow up, you realize that there's so much more to black history than those 3 figures. And it's something I wish, if they feel the need to keep teaching a Black History Month and teaching Black history during that month, I would hope that the teachers would kind of go outside the box and not share the same historical figures every single fucking year. Because you're not doing the kids in that class any service by teaching about the same people every year. Then you wonder why shit gets boring and stale. You know what I'm saying? I think there's a lot cooler shit about Black history than the 3 figures that we pedestalize and put, it don't matter. Anyway, so talk more about world issues. I will say histories and stuff like that, I wish we would learn more about in school instead of the same rehashed bullshit every year. Oh, this next one's a big one. Not everyone is gonna like you. This one is huge. And I feel like, and I don't know if I touched on this in the last video or not, but I feel like if, hold on, I set a timer for this video so I can see how long I'm going. Okay, perfect. I feel like the quicker you can internalize that you're not going to win everyone over, the easier your life is gonna be. And this was something I internalized about 2021, coincidentally after I lost 110 pounds. The quicker you realize that not everyone's going to like you, the easier life is and the quicker your choices in life become. One thing I've realized is something you will 100% fail at is trying to make everyone happy. You can't do it. It's impossible. You will 100% fail every single time. And I think the quicker someone realizes that, it's cake, which is why I say the stuff I do, which is why I post the things on social media I do. I'm not going to make everyone happy. I'm not here to make everyone happy. You either fuck with me or you don't. Which pre-2021, I was a yes man. I was in high school. I didn't have a backbone. I was kind of, I was kind of, and that got me nowhere. You know what? Nice guys do finish last. I don't give a fuck what, and I'm not talking about finish last in a sexual standing. I'm just saying, if you want what you want, you got to be a bit of a dick. You gotta have some chutzpah. Get in there, get in amongst it, and just sometimes you got to pull your dick out and put it on the table. Be like, hey, this is what it is. But yeah, I agree with this a lot, and that's one thing with kids today where we got to give them a safe space. We got to coddle them. We got to give them participation points. It's giving them a false sense of reality that, oh yeah, everything's hunky-dory, everything's good, everything's cool, everyone's nice to me. When in reality, no. They're going to go through school, and if they're sheltered and coddled, then someone like me is going to come along and be like, what the fuck are we doing? And then introduce them to a little bit of hazing. Now, I'm not a bully. But if I want to bust balls or break balls, I don't need the kids sitting there crying about it. Give me some return. Return to sender. Volley some shit back. AC-130 inbound. Let's go. Let's make it happen. Send me something. And then those are the kids that go, light up a school or something like that because they have this weird sense of reality and what it is and what the world owes them. Yuck. Disgusting. So I wish that's something, and as adults, as parents, I say we, I'm not a parent, but we should be instilling that into our kids that, yeah, not everyone is going to like you. Tough shit. And this was a good one. I've never even thought about this before. Chemistry isn't the same as compatibility. That's a huge one. This should be something that is told, maybe not as young children, but this is something I could see teenagers benefiting from the most. But when you're a teenager, again, you don't really give a fuck. You're just trying to get laid, and you're off getting, liver failure in a cornfield somewhere. I completely get it. But the quicker you could, and you hear the word internalize a lot on this, the quicker you can internalize that compatibility and chemistry are not the same. Perfect situation. My ex, rest in peace. Me and her, we had good chemistry. Our chemistry was great. Partying and sex was great. And we were into the same things. We were into a lot of the same things. But compatibility-wise, on paper, there was no compatibility. There was that relationship shouldn't have gone on as long as it did, but it did. But on a compatibility standpoint, it wasn't what it should have been. And that's something I should have been cognizant of. But again, I was 24 at the time. I was like, oh, this chick, she's hot as hell, this and that. So I was clouded by chemistry. You can have chemistry with anyone, but do you have the compatibility? Are you guys compatible with each other? So that's something I feel like you should instill in younger people to apply to their later years of dating. Let's see here. Someone said, move out of the state or the country at an early age, enjoy life. I would agree with that. Yeah. If you don't, well, no, I was going to say something there, but no, I completely agree with that. Move out of state or country at an early age, enjoy life, especially if your end goal is to have a family, have kids, all this stuff like that. Move away, enjoy yourself, do what you got to do. Before, that time is done, before you have to settle down, before you have to, make it happen. I agree with that. I don't really have much else to say about that one, but I agree with that one. Toilet paper can be put on the wrong way. This was something as a kid I didn't understand. And my mom would always be like, make sure you replenish the toilet paper. So I'd go in there and I'd put it on where, it would hang out the back. I have a thing of toilet paper over there. Hold on, I'm going to demonstrate for those that don't know. I was blowing my nose earlier. Ugh. So say this is the holder right here. And you would pull, you're sitting on the shitter over here, and you would pull it right here. That's the wrong way. You want to do it this way. So say I'm on the shitter, and I gotta, God damn it, hold on. I'm going to pull the roll. There, you do one of those right there. I had 2 fingers in there and it was too much. And yeah, you could definitely put it on the wrong way. And I didn't understand that as a kid. And then I got older and I was like, yeah, there's definitely a right and a wrong way to this. So sorry, Mom. Sorry for all those years of fucking up with toilet paper. Let's see here. Okay. Your mom is the only one who wants what's best for you. Now, I don't know this to be fact, but what I do know is my mom was the only parent I had growing up. Now, before people, another black dad. No, my dad was actually, I guess this is still within the black purview, but my dad was murdered by someone, died at 25, and I think he was 25. Yeah, and then I was born that same year. And was it that same year? It was close to it. That's when I was born. So it's been me and my mom from the jump, the whole time. And so I know in my life, directly in my life, she is the only one that wants what's best for me and for me to excel and do better than her. I don't know, I'm holding my phone. My phone's off. I don't know, I'm holding it up like I'm recording myself. I guess I am recording myself. So in my life, I know she's the only one that wants what's best for me and wants what's good for me. Now, I don't know. I'm sure there's dads that want the same for their kids. I'm sure. I can't test this. I can't talk to this because I don't know what growing up in that 2-parent household is like. But from my own experiences, I would be led to believe this is true. From my own experience, my dad, I'm sure your dad's great. I'm sure he wants what's best for you. I'm saying in my own Shut the fuck up. Okay. Someone said, I think this was Brandy that said this. Don't remodel a house while living in it. Remodeling a house seems like it'd be just a shit show anyway. I could only imagine while living in it, everything you touch has got a layer of wood dust over it and paint, and you're walking under scaffolding and all this crazy shit. And I don't know if that's something I would have wanted to know as a kid. It probably would have meant jack shit to me as a kid, but that is something that you'd maybe want to apply, you know? Let's see here. Oh, this is a huge one. I know a lot of people like this. Some people can slide by in school but are completely dumb in real life. I forget who sent that. One thing I noticed as a kid, not until high school, because prior to high school in general, everyone's taking the same shit. Everyone's in the same math class. Everyone's in the same science class. Everyone's in the same PE. Everyone's in the same. You're doing all the same shit. It's not until you get to high school that everyone starts branching off and start doing, someone does consumer math over here. Someone does advanced trig over here. Someone does computer animation and design over here. Someone does, earth science over here for the third time because they failed the first 2 years. People do different things. Actually, it wasn't earth science. It was biology. I failed 3 times. Shout out to Mr. Freeman. I love that guy. I ran into him at the fair before the third year started, and he comes up, Mr. Perkins. He goes, you just love me that much that you're taking my class 3 times? I said, yeah. He goes, I'll see you Thursday or whenever school started Wednesday. Because for Iowans, you always know that school's right around the corner because when the fair is done, the week of the fair, it's like the week and a half of the fair, like the 9th to the 19th or the 11th to the 21st, whatever it is. The fair is always like that Thursday or Wednesday, or the fair. School's always that Wednesday or Thursday after the fair being done. So the fair is always that end of season thing. Shout out to Mr. Freeman. But there was a couple kids I went to school with who, there's a chick, I don't want to say her name. She posts some really bizarre shit on Facebook. If you know who she is, you know who she is. And super smart in school. Very good grades. She was class A student. But you would talk to her and you realize that she wasn't all there. And I'm not talking not all there in like a genius kind of way. I'm saying like, this girl has 0 street smarts. Like this chick is just, she's not there. She's not. And you realize school, essentially, it's just how well can you retain information in here, keep it in here, and then put it on a piece of paper. That's all school is. How well can you retain information long enough to put it on paper or a test or an essay or something like that? That's all school is. Now, obviously, when you get into the college years and stuff, now you're ripping people open and doing the heart surgery, or you're doing something, whatever it is. But then, yeah, you realize, I'm looking back, I'm sure you've got people right now that you could think of that were great students, but outside of academics, they're just slow. And you're like, and unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, because the kids that were smart outside of academics, those are the ones that go on to be CEOs of companies and all that stuff like that. Whereas the smart ones that are smart academically are the ones that usually end up in $100,000 of school debt and not much more. Which actually goes into this next one. Don't go to college. I think this was one of the ones, I might have said in the last video, college was a waste of time. Don't go to college. Again, if you have a profession that requires you to go to college, doctor, something in the government field, something like that, by all means, yeah, go. But you want to learn a trade, or you want to do something that you could excel in, business. Andrew Tate brought up a really interesting point. I love Andrew Tate. If that loses me followers, that does. I couldn't give a fuck. But one thing and I'm not saying I agree with everything he says. I just like him as a personality. I think he's fucking hilarious, and every now and again, he drops some truth bombs. One thing he said was, it's interesting how you have professors that'll teach business, but none of these professors have businesses. These professors are making the same as every other professor, college, school, whatever it is. When it'd be more beneficial to maybe read some books on business, do some YouTube research, whatever it is, because you can learn anything from YouTube now, and then just getting into it yourself, and then, sink or swim, it's just one of those things. I don't know. I agree with it though. We'll plow ahead here. How much time we at? Okay, I'll get a couple more here. Someone said, do not listen to Iowans when they say Iowa is the best state. This was something that always irritated me as a kid. I was never, I always talked a fair amount of shit about Iowa. And I still do. But I have an appreciation for Iowa. Now, first off, Iowa will always be home. And there's no greater feeling than if I'm flying back in from somewhere or I'm driving. I hate driving far distances. Like 2 hours is my limit. If it's more than 2 hours away, fuck it. So we'll say fly. When I'm flying back in, or when I was younger and would drive with my mom places, there's nothing better than seeing 801 Grand on the Des Moines skyline. It's one of the best. I'm like, this is home. And if you want to live like a king for cheap, Iowa's the place to do it. You want your money, you want your dollar to stretch further than it needs to, Iowa's the place to do it. Which is one thing I've realized. My end goal is to transfer to Phoenix. That's my end game. That's what I want to do. Working with the post office, you have opportunities really to transfer anywhere you want where there's a post office. Puerto Rico included, I guess would be kind of cool. But you can transfer anywhere. Anywhere there's the USPS, you can transfer there. So Phoenix is my end goal. And I'm looking through these houses and stuff, and I'm realizing, like, if I want to maintain the lifestyle I have now without any changes, major changes, there's not a shot in hell I can afford that out there. I'm looking in Scottsdale. That's part of the problem. I could look in other places, but I want to live in Scottsdale. And there's not a shot in hell I could maintain my lifestyle now, end a life out there without some major changes going on. In Iowa, you can get the same place. Say you get a 3-bed, 3-bath apartment, condo, whatever it is. Say it's $4,100 a month out there in Scottsdale. It'd only be like $1,800 to $2,100 here. But the thing out there that I've realized is you get a shit ton of amenities. They are huge on amenities. We have a dog washing station. We have a 5-mile long dog park. We have a car wash bay. We have Amazon pickup and dry cleaning, and they have all these amenities. And I know we have amenities here too, but if you just go on Zillow or some type of an apartment finder or whatever, condo, whatever, and you just go into Scottsdale and you just look at whatever listing that's in a nice area, and you just look at all the amenities they have, it's fucking insane. It's crazy. Weird shit. And we'll do one more here. So back to that last one. Is Iowa the best state? I don't think so. As a kid, you're kind of led, if you live in Iowa, you're led to believe that Iowa, it doesn't get any better than Iowa. Same like kind of how everyone seems to think that America is the best country in the world. And as a kid, you're led to believe that, and it's drilled into your head that there's no better country than America. And then you bring up that it's not the best country, and everyone's like, you try living in Iraq then. I'll buy you a first-class ticket to North Korea right now. It's like, why are you naming off all these weird third-world countries? Like, what are we doing? They seem to forget the entire northwestern of Europe. Pretty dope. In fact, you look at the happiness rankings of countries around the world, I don't even think America cracks the top 10. But you know what does crack the top 10? I believe Germany, Switzerland, Sweden, Austria, Holland, all those, like Norway's up there. A lot of places crack the happy list. That's all I give a fuck about being happy. Oh, what about rates? Like, carrying a gun on my person 24/7. I own guns. Do I need to carry them around with me all the time? I probably should, given the current state of things. Because the moment you don't have it and you wish you did is when you wish you would have had it. But yeah, there's certain like things, like that's one thing Americans will bring up. Oh, guns. Like, when's the last time you heard of a mass shooting in Norway? Or, Holland, or, whatever it is. Anyway, that will go ahead. Actually, I said one more, so we'll go ahead and do that. Life is who you know and not what you know. This is huge. And this goes kind of back to the schooling thing. You can know a lot. You can, do all this shit right here. But if you don't know the right amount of people to pluck you in to the social pipelines you need to be plugged into to exceed, That's huge. Now, yes, you can get far by academics and being smart on paper. But there's plenty of people. I would say more people, the people that have went to school, that have been plucked into certain situations for them to succeed based on who their social circle was. Fuck, even to get into college. A lot of that is, oh, hey, can you write a letter of recommendation? Oh, hey, I know the headmaster at such and such. They wrote me a letter of recommendation for this over here. Because the name carries clout. The name is huge. So they see that and they're like, oh yeah, let him in, bring him through. That's one of those things. Yeah. Life is big on who you know. My last 2 jobs, I name dropped a couple people on my my application. Actually, for my post office job, that'll be 4 years in April. I used to work the post office's Christmas help. This is about a decade ago. More than a decade ago. It was like a decade and a half ago. I was like 21. So I was young and I just wanted to go out and party and fuck stuff and whatever. And they were working me 7 days a week, 12-hour shifts. So there was an entire month and a half. I didn't have a day off, but there was so much money. I didn't know what to do with it. So I quit the post office, and that was my first time I ever went to Arizona. First time I ever saw a quail in person. For those that don't know, quail is my favorite bird. I don't know why. I know why. It's because they have that feather. I really like the feather. Odd reason I like a bird, I know. But anyway, I used to work at the post office, and then I wanted to go back to the post office with the intention of transferring out. So I went back 4 years ago, and they said, what qualifies this, that, and the other? And I remember my old boss's names, and everyone loved my old bosses. So I said, oh, if there's any question about my work ethic, this, that, and the other, I said, ask da-da-da and da-da-da. That was all I put. Didn't put why I qualify for it. I said, just ask, boom, boom. Week and a half later, yeah, we're proud to give you the position of. Done. Now, I don't know if that was what tipped the scales in my favor, but I know one of those guys has been long since retired. The other guy, I don't know where he's at, but those were names that the guy that was doing the hiring, I guess, knew. So he was like, oh, okay, cool. Never heard anything bad. So, guys, I'm going to go and land the plane there. I'm going to see how much we have left. Because this might be I could probably knock out the rest of it in a 3-part. I didn't know if this would be 4 parts or not. I could probably knock the rest about it now. Yeah, that's fun. These are great. I love people that are able to engage with me when I ask certain questions. One thing I pride myself on, and I don't know, sorry, my lips, I put chapstick on. My lips are flaking. I don't know if you guys can see this or not. If you can, I apologize. It's fucking disgusting. It's fucking disgusting. So I'm chewing the skin off my lips while I'm tied. That's a horrible habit. I'm well aware. I need to stop. I apologize. But I do love the fact that I'm able to engage and get reactions out of people and get responses. I think one thing that I pride myself on, I don't know if it's because of my demeanor or, just all around, dude, I don't know what it is. Laid back, non-judgmental. I don't know what it is. But I'm able to, whether it be Snapchat, Facebook, whatever, could post something and then get reactions from all walks of life. It could be a completely different opinion on something that I have. It could be the same, but no one's afraid to confide in me what their stance on a situation is. And I think that's because I just don't care enough to judge someone based on their stance. So there's like, yeah, well, Dan's cool. We'll do that. So I love these types of things because it's engaging and just a fun time. It's nice to see where people's minds and brains are at. So I'm going to land the plane there, guys. I will talk to you guys next week. By the way, it's my birthday today. I'm 34 now. Holy fuck. I'm going to go jump off a cliff. I appreciate you guys. Talk to you next week. Peace.